Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Heartstrings Podcast.
Yeah. You remember how to do it?
I guess.
Yeah.
So Mario wanted me to start it this time.
Yeah, because it's kind of funny. I was going through edits on other episodes, and I realized we haven't opened up an episode in a while. So I'm like, hey,
It's the thing is, it's like I said it before. This is kind of like a your thing kind of thing, and
Yeah.
I'm just kind of there kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. I feel like I'm awkward.
I don't think so. It's just
I feel awkward.
I think since we started getting guests, you're like, oh no, you started off. Like, fine, I'll start it off.
I think so. I guess in a way it's like I'm too shy.
Yeah, I think so. So that's why I'm like, editing and kind of looking back to our last episode, the last one you actually like opened it up. I'm like, hey, you haven't opened it up in a while, so you can start doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to though.
Too bad. You're gonna have to. So yeah, today we actually have a few things. Well, first of all,
We got a few things to get off our chest. Well, I got a few things to get off my
Yeah.
chest. So.
yeah.
I mean,
know-
if we would have sat down yesterday and talked about it, there would have been a lot of cussing involved.
yeah.
But I think I'm at a point where, I've had time to think about it. It still bothers me, but I've had time to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know we haven't been recording for. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think last month wasn't a very good month for us. When it came to like
Our scheduling and stuff.
like work-life balance wasn't too good. As in we weren't.
As
able,
in our schedules meeting each other.
Yeah. So a lot of times that we were able to record, we had like a little small window, and it was just not enough. Enough time to get people in.
And lately I've been super tired too.
aparte.
I've been like even today, like I just feel exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
But wanted to put in the effort.
Yeah. No, I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, and amongst this last month, you've been getting a lot of
Unsolicited advice,
yeah.
unsolicited comments, and it's just about pregnancy and like eating, like a lot of things about food that have been getting on my nerves a little bit.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. I know, your journey so far with Aiden and Addie has been pretty much the same with, this new baby with,
It's been a little different.
No, I mean, like, not as in, I mean, like, you had to, when you were,
like
pregnant,
the dieting part,
and then the blood sugar control and monitoring, that's been exactly the same. I think with this baby around, you're a lot more hormonal to a certain extent.
Maybe a lot more sensitive, yeah.
And a lot of the things have been a little harder for you, like, maintaining sugars early on. And I think
No, go ahead. No, I'm like, I'd have to disagree. Like, but I mean, yeah, no, it's been a little difficult, and yeah, go ahead. I don't know what I was gonna say.
Yeah, no, I think like your sugars have been good. It's just that like we talked about it before, is the fasting one that's been getting to you a little harder this time around.
Yeah, I mean, it's manageable. I'm managing whatever I gotta do. I'm doing whatever I gotta do, but. Part of what has been bothering me is you kind of said it in a way that made a lot of sense to me. Like it's a kind of a cultural thing with like our Hispanic culture, who maybe like our older Hispanic culture, that like our older people. That kind of they like to think that they're offering wisdom, I guess. And it's gotten to my feelings, I guess. I don't know. I'm sensitive, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's also I don't know. It just bothers me because I hear comments about. Obviously, with the dieting and having to watch what I eat, it's just having to cut down on my carbs, just making, I mean, they're telling me, whatever, even sometimes I get confused with, with the nurse or whatever, but the nutritionist or whatever, but it's just, God, I don't even know how to like put it into words.
I think you experiencing what you're experiencing right now. To a certain extent, some struggles with the gestational diabetes and how hard you've been trying. Sometimes people give you advice like, hey, you look so thin.
Not everyone knows, not everyone knows, and I feel like I'm not obligated to share that information. I mean, obviously I've shared it on here and it's not a secret, but I'm not obligated to be like, oh, well, it's because I have, this and then I'm struggling with that. And I have to, it's just exhausting. Like it's an exhausting conversation and I don't need to tell anyone. No one needs to know. And it's hard when, I'm trying to eat my meals or I'm trying to eat the way that is working for me and I get comments like, oh, you should be eating for 2. Oh, is that all you're gonna eat? It's like, can you shut the fuck up?
Yeah, and it's the thing is like you mentioned, like you don't need to tell them. Like you explain to them, oh, I have this and I have that and I have to do this differently, I have to do that differently. Like you don't have to. And if you did, honestly, like the amount of people that have, made a comment, it would get tiring. Like after so many things, like, it gets tiring and like, okay, can you just be quiet? Or like, can you just...
It's like, and it's also like the same people.
Yeah.
Like running into me like, oh, you're so thin. Yeah. I heard you the first 20 times you said it.
Yeah.
I heard it before and you said it. So it's just like, I've lost weight. I've been maintaining a diet and I think yesterday was kind of like the cherry on top. I got a comment about what I was drinking. I was drinking a Coke Zero or whatever with my lunch. And I guess someone noticed and was like, stopped me in my tracks hours later and pointed it out and was, again, offering me unsolicited advice about what I should be eating and what I shouldn't be eating in my condition. And in the moment, like, I'm not trying to be rude. Like, that's a lot. Like, I'm trying to be super considerate to everyone's feelings, but I feel like no one's considering mine.
Yeah.
Like, what makes you think I want to hear it from you when my own body's constantly reminding me?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And
what I can and can't eat.
Yeah. And I remember we were at work when this happened, so
I didn't want to say that because like I don't even want to put anyone on the spot. Like, and it's just.
No, I mean what I meant, like, we were at work talking about it, so you didn't want to break down, like, and at work, so when we were talking about it, you weren't trying to like say it because as you were saying it, like right now, you got emotional just thinking about it, So it's like, we had to like, you had to like a little, in a sense, kind of like hold it in until like we were outside of work and then talk about it. But it's like, it's like I told you, it's like, I understand, people like, they want to be helpful. And they might not, and we both agree on this, like they might not mean it with like bad intentions,
It comes with like the hopes of being helpful. Like you're trying to tell me something that could be beneficial for me. You're doing it with good intentions. I get it. I want to say I appreciate it, but loosely I appreciate it because I don't want to hear it at the same time. Because like I said, it's just every single day that I have to prick my finger 4 times a day. Yeah. I'm being reminded of how I could have eaten more or how I should have eaten less.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, I don't need that.
That constant reminder.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I get it. And that's where That's what I was kind of telling you as well. Like, like I understand where you're coming from, and I know you're emotional, but at the end of the day, those type of comments, we should just kind of be ignoring them. And it's hard.
How would you do it? Because like we talked about it on the way home, and you're kind of like, you're like, basically I told you like how the conversation was, you know, and I didn't shut it down. I kind of engaged it. I kind of like talked a little, and then it wasn't after that it just like slapped me and like it was like a bucket of cold water, and it just like brushed over me, like that feeling of like whatever that feeling was. It just came to me, and I got emotional about it. It wasn't until after the conversation, right, with the said person. Your opinion is more like you hear yourself. You didn't really shut it down. You engaged it. You continued the conversation. I'm not trying to be rude. Yeah. I'm not trying to be like, you know what? Shut up. I don't want to hear it. I really want to say that. Like I really want to just be like, can you not? Yeah. But I'm considering the way that I come off to people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. I understand that. But my approach was like, you've kind of already been trying to keep it like, to a certain extent, like nice, you're not trying to be rude to people. And at the end of the day, the only one that's getting their feelings hurt is you, Mm-hmm. And that's where I was kind of coming from, was like I know you're not trying to be rude. I know you're trying to be like, as professional as possible, as as
graceful, like, thank you for that. I'll do that.
Yeah, and I know you're trying to do that, and you don't want to sense like have that like, oh, she was hella rude to me, or she was like a bitch, like things like that. I know you don't want.
I guess I'm trying to avoid someone coming off to someone in a mean way, and then turning around and like telling the next person, and then it's just like, that's not who I am. Yeah. But again, it's just like, it's getting so exhausting.
Yeah, and that's exactly that's kind of where our conversation ended, because we got home and then we got, the kids.
Trying to put them to sleep.
Put them to sleep, but we didn't finish the conversation. But like at the end of the day, if you kind of need to be rude, but by giving them like, like a warning, like, hey, I'm not trying to be rude, and I know you're trying to be helpful, but I wasn't asking you for that advice, or I've had my dieting. I had
I don't want to have to put myself in the situation where I have to explain, hey, you know what? I'm already struggling. I don't want to hear it from you. I don't want to have to do that. But I don't. It's like, it's not that I don't want to have to do that. I shouldn't have to do that. Like, at what point, like, does someone? It's like, people are not going to go off if they see somebody smoking a cigarette in the street. They're not going to go off and be like, hey, can I tell you the statistics on, like, cancer research, or, tobacco? And you're not going to go off and tell them anything, because guess what? They don't give a fuck. Yeah. It's their life, and it's none of your business.
But you're talking about like in a stranger aspect. Because if it was somebody that you knew and you see him smoking, you might say something like, hey, do you know that cigarettes kill blah, blah, blah type of people?
Yeah, I know, but so a lot of the people I can't really say I'm like super close with.
Exactly. So the thing is, like, with these people, like, you're not exactly close to them, but, you've been around them for a certain amount of time. You've always been friendly. Yeah, they kind of feel comfortable. So technically, you're not a stranger. You're not. You're known, right? So that's one of the things that I was saying. I was like, I know it's hard, but how do you tell somebody, hey, stop with the comments without being rude?
I don't know.
There isn't a way. The only thing that you can do is be like, you know what? Like, I'm not trying to be rude. I know you're trying to be helpful, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't need to like be like, give them all the details, like, nah, just be like, hey, I know you're trying to be nice and helpful, but, I have my plan. And if I'm drinking a Coke Zero, I'm treating myself, and that's all you need to know. You don't have to go into the details and be like, I've been struggling with my sugar levels. I've been doing this. I've been doing that. So because of that, now I think I deserve a Coke. Like, you don't have to go through all those details. Specifically me, I would be straightforward. Like, hey, I'm not trying to be rude to you, and I don't want you to want you to think that I'm coming off you the wrong way. But I'm not asking you for those comments. If I'm not asking you for them,
That sounds so rude.
Exactly. That would be me though. That would unnecessarily be me. And I mean, at the end of the day, the way I'm taking it is like, if I come off as rude to that person, and that person tries to spread around, oh, this dude was just an asshole or blah 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 or whatever. People that really know me, they're gonna know that it's not me. Right, so like like, whoa, that doesn't seem like Mario. That's not something like Mario would do. So, they would hold back on that comment. Now, if it's somebody else, that doesn't really know me, and they want to go ahead and spread that shit, then fuck it. I mean, who cares? At the end of the day, I know my character, and all I know is that my reaction was based on technically like a self-defense mechanism, like I was trying to protect my feelings. And if I came off of you the wrong way, that's because that's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling vulnerable, and that's how I'm gonna come out to you, and it doesn't really define my character. But I know how you are, and I know exactly where you're coming from, like where you're trying to like be in two places at one, to a certain extent. But that's not gonna work for you, because at the end of the day, like those comments obviously hurt you. They make you feel a certain way. At the end of the day, you're going to come home.
You said the perfect word. They made me feel vulnerable.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, you're going to come home hurt because of the constant reminder. They're going to go home, take a shower, and like nothing happened. So how do you put a stop to that?
I mean, they're not going to know that.
They're never going to know.
That they were being rude, unconsciously, but they were being rude.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying is like, there's not really a good way or a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. I mean, there's a wrong way. I always say that, but there is always a wrong way to do it. But there's not really a good way to do things. And
there's
sometimes
not a perfect way to do it.
Yeah, there isn't. And sometimes you just kind of have to choose between, getting shot, getting stabbed, or getting cut. It's like at the end of the day, one way or another, it might hurt you in a sense. But what is the least way that you're gonna get hurt? And I think that's protecting your feelings because. You're very emotional. And specifically now that you're like, you have all these hormones, you're pregnant, 36 weeks, 32 weeks. Sorry. I'm just thinking 36 weeks are going to leave or, but
maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Mm-hmm. So 32 weeks, and these hormones are going to start kicking in. So the best way is just do you protect their feelings, If they're like an asshole to you, I told you. I'll catch them aside, They don't know me. But yeah, there really isn't like, a right way to doing it. At the end of the day, I think you just kind of need to put your foot down and be like, I don't want those comments.
I mean, yeah. Like, if it was like the cute stuff or whatever to talk about, like the nice stuff, sure, why not? But like food and dieting and like nutrition is a very sensitive subject for me right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, you don't need to explain yourself to people, but I mean, they kind of also need to understand we're like, oh, like Graciela's a great person and she's real nice, but we shouldn't be crossing these boundaries right now, with this specific subject. And if you let it know now, if you let it know now, or even like in the next incident, I think they'll know, like, okay, we shouldn't be touching that subject. This is a sensitive subject, And it's not to be an asshole. It's just to be more like, like, hey, be more self-aware of my feelings when it comes to this, Because we know, like a lot of great people. They're very nice, and they're like, they respect us a lot, and we respect them too. They just don't know that they're saying something that it's like hurting you, And going back to the cultural thing is like, a lot of times, a lot of Latino people, not just Mexican people, like Salvadorians, Guatemalans, any type of Latinos, Hispanic people, they have a sense like, they're comfortable with giving advice, like unsolicited advice, unsolicited advice, and that's just normal in a lot of our cultures, like, oh, I kind of know you, and we kind of met, we kind of talked before, and like, but I did see you doing this, maybe you should kind of.
It's like, let me offer you like a piece of advice and it comes from a good place.
Yeah, yeah.
but it's not. I'm not asking for it.
Yeah. You know, and that's what I'm saying is like their mentality is not, maybe some are, you know, maybe some are like, you know, but I know most of the mentality is not to like, you know, to like make you feel bad. You know, it's just something they see and they have a opinion about it and they want to tell you about it, you know, and it's not always malicious. It's just,
no, I don't think it is.
It's just sometimes people tend to like not really think about what I can say to you might, you know, affect you.
You might already be struggling enough.
Yeah.
And then I'm just adding to the pressure.
Exactly.
It's just, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, like, you know, I think you've been doing an amazing job with the dieting, but let's just say something like, you know, you're struggling consistently, you know, with your sugar levels, right? And you have to like, you know, up at, you know, your insulin levels. You have to put more insulin and you're still struggling. And then someone comes around and like, hey, you know, you're gaining a lot of weight, you know, or, you know, like, oh, maybe she.
Oh my God, I had this one person tell me.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled my eyes after this, like, you
Yeah.
know, while they're kind of like, oh, you know, that I'm starting to show now.
Mm-hmm.
And this person thinks, you know, because we don't know the gender, this person is assuming it's going to be a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody says it's going to be a boy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind. That's fun. Like, that's the fun stuff. I was like, oh, it's going to be a boy. Oh, I think it's going to be a girl. Like, that's the fun stuff. Yeah, let's talk about that more. Like, if you guys want to, I don't know, give me, you know, tell me what you think. You know, that's fun. That's cool. And she was like, oh, she's going to be huge. It's a big-ass girl or something like that. Like, va a ser una niñota.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bien grandota viene, right? Like, I'm like, I didn't fucking ask you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And those are,
like, I don't know. It was just a weird comment to me. I thought it was weird.
because I remember when you told me, like, that doesn't sound like, you know, like a compliment. It sounds more like.
What is it? Like,
like,
what are you trying to say?
Yeah, what are you trying to say? You know, yeah, like I get those, and that's what I meant. Like, not everybody. Some people do, you know, say comments to like hurt, but some people do.
Hey, I don't know if that was supposed to be hurtful.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think so either. Like, I was just like, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to feel about it.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't say anything. I was just like, oh, and then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever.
You know, and I think to a certain extent, like, you know, people have loose tongues, loose mouths. You know, that's what I say. Sometimes I have a loose mouth and I don't, like, you know, I don't watch what I say. A lot of people are the exact same way to a certain extent, you know. They You
have no filter. That's what you.
Yeah. I
mean. It's not like you're not going to go off and, like, make comments about someone and the way they look or, you know, their condition or anything like that. Like, that's not what you're gonna do. It's just more of like you have no filter when it comes to like your jokes, maybe. Like,
yeah.
You have a very open mind about like jokes, and it's like it's your humor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I guess to a certain extent that's different. You know?
Yeah, it's different than making comments about. People.
Yeah. I think you shut me down on that one, so.
I didn't mean to shut you down.
Well, you did.
Whatever.
No, but you know that's what I'm saying is like, you know, it's just you don't really know sometimes your people's, you know, comments or the backstory to that, you know. And I think with you like being very hormonal right now, you know, it can get to you, you know, a lot harder than if you weren't that hormonal, you know. And that's where I try to give you advice. You know, even though you don't listen to it, but like I try to give you advice.
What do you mean I don't listen to it?
Well, I mean, I kind of have to drill you sometimes, you know, like.
What do you mean by drill me?
Like give you all the details and all the reasonings to it, and even with those
you
details.
You mean like you want to be super positive all the time?
Not necessarily, because like for example, like me saying like, you know, just tell them like your comments are not welcome. Like that's not a very positive, you know, optimistic view on it. It's more like. It's a little more negative in a sense, you know, and that's what I'm saying is like something
that's true.
Yeah, you know, and it's something I have to like break things down into details. And even at the end, when everything you're like, yeah, you're right. but I'm still not going to do it. You know, it's like,
well, that's the thing is like, you're right about that. I should be shutting the comments down. I shouldn't be engaging. I shouldn't be like adding information, because I did do that yesterday. Like I added information and I was like, oh yeah, you know, whatever I added, that's besides the point. But I engaged in the conversation slightly. Like I wasn't like hella engaged, like, oh my God, tell me more. But I was kind of like allowing it to proceed. Yeah. I should be shutting it down. I should be like rude and just like, you know what? I don't have time for this, but that's just not. I can't. I can't bring myself to do that.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you just mentioned right now is like, you know, to a certain extent, you kind of like, you know, you kind of went along with it, you know, and you mentioned the word slightly, you know. Like to you might be slightly, to them that
it might be like a full open door.
Yeah, so it's like you open the door for them and be like, oh, so maybe next time I can give
welcomed.
her. Yeah, like next time I can give you another, you know, another one
so
of those.
I just screwed myself over.
Yeah, and that's where I'm coming from is like, you know, it's not so much how much you were open to it and how much you engaged in it. It's just the fact that you left the door open, you know, and people take that like, oh, well, last time I gave her advice or I gave her my opinion, she kind of went along with it. And I see.
Well, I was just thinking about every time I see this person just buy myself a Coke Zero and like opening it up right in front of them and just be looking at them in the eye and like drinking it.
Just staring down. And, you know, your break is over and you pass by him drinking it. No, but, you know, that's what I'm saying is like, you know, I think sometimes people don't. It's kind of like, you know, that saying like, oh, they didn't read the signs or they didn't get the hints. Like, people don't go with hints or signs. You need to tell their asses like, hey, you know, that's not cool. Because, you know, sometimes you hear those things like, oh, you couldn't see those signs. You couldn't read the, you know, like, no. Sometimes just people need to be like, nah.
You need to be direct.
You need to be direct, super direct. And, you know, it might be with this guy, he was just like a one-time off thing. But there'd be a lot of people.
I mean, I've never talked to him before, so it was just kind of weird.
Yeah. You know, and that's what I'm saying is like with other people that are a little more opinionated than other people, and they're a lot more comfortable with you, you know, it's kind of time that you start shutting them down one, you know, little by little if you can.
You mean the people that are comfortable?
Yeah, or that are consistently saying the same thing, you know, that are hurting or making you feel bad for whatever comment they are doing. Just because, like, you know, like I said, it's just more about protecting your feelings. You could try to be nice about it and try to be civil about it and not try to be rude. But at the end of the day, you're doing all those things and you're coming home, you know, crying, you know, or very emotional, then what you're doing is not working. As opposed, if you were a little rude, you come home like, you know what? I probably was a lot rude, but I didn't get to hear all the like their comments.
But then I would probably feel like shit because I would feel bad for being rude.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like you also need to understand like people know you. You know, people, you know, been with.
They don't know me. No one knows me.
They do know you.
No, they
well.
don't.
Yes,
no one
do.
knows me. No one knows me.
I know they do. Trust me, they do. Even people that. This is the thing. You're very transparent. You may not see it, but you're very transparent. You're very straightforward. You know.
No, I'm not.
Yes, I think you are.
I hide a lot of my feelings.
That's different, though. There's a difference between hiding your feelings and being transparent. You know, hiding your feelings, I mean, is a lot different.
What do you mean by very transparent, though? In what way and how do people know me? I honestly don't think that I don't really show people me.
Personal life is different than, you know, professional. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you may not show your goofy side to people you don't know. You know, if it's at school, at work, at the grocery store, you're not going to be goofy.
I don't even think that some of my closest friends really know me.
Exactly. But that's your personal life. You know, your personal life is what you choose to show to other people. That's why it's personal, right? Mm. So your personal life, you share with me, with the kids, you know, close family members around us. Like, you show them your goofy side. You know, that's your personal, you know, your personal bubble. You're sharing it. It's different with friends because friends can be very close friends, like, you know, best friends, whatever. and you can still not choose to show them that part. You know what I mean?
I don't think anyone outside of this house knows me.
Yeah.
Like the real me.
Yeah. The psycho one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's different when it comes to like, you sharing your emotions to be like being more professional or more of an image to like, like I say, even at the grocery store, you're not going to be acting around like, acting like a fool like you do here with the kids, it's a lot different. So that image you show to other people, just because you hide emotions and your feelings doesn't mean you're not transparent. Because at the end of the day, people are going to know like Graciela, she's very polite. She's very pleasant, but don't fuck around with her, and that's what I'm saying. And like in a work aspect, that's how it is. Like, oh, she's by the book, don't mess with her. Just do what you're supposed to do and you're good. If you're at a school, oh, Graciela's very smart. She does her homework every day. She goes by the book and she turns in her assignments in on time. That's what people see. That's what people know from you. That you're very transparent when it comes to that. Like when it comes to process and procedures.
I guess I'll say I would use the word consistent.
Yeah. Consistent. I would say that. So that's what people see. And people don't see a Graciela that is rude all the time. They don't see a Graciela that ignores you when you just pass by.
Because no one needs to see that. Like I don't want to encounter a person like that.
Yeah.
And I choose to not be what I wouldn't want to encounter.
Exactly. So you're being consistent with that with a lot of people, and that's what people see.
Okay. I get your point.
Yeah.
I still don't. I still can't promise to be rude.
No, I mean, I'm not. Well, yeah. I mean, not saying you should be rude. My suggestion to you is to be a little rude to protect their feelings. But I'm glad you got what I was saying, that you understood, because with me trying to explain this, I completely lost myself in the
You're like, what the fuck are we talking about?
What was I trying to say? Okay, I'm going to just keep going. I'm going to keep winging the shit out of this because I forgot what I was saying. But I'm glad you understood, and I'm glad I could help. Yeah. I mean, and at the end of the day, it's kind of like I mentioned to you, it's like right now, I don't know what I was going to say.
This situation, I'll take over. This situation kind of makes me a little frightened, a little scared for when the baby does get here and, has to be in casting. It has to be in boots and bar. It's like, I don't see many of that. Like, I don't think I've ever seen personally, like in real life. I've seen pictures, now that I've had to research it and stuff and like, join support groups and stuff on Facebook and stuff. Like I've seen, but I haven't like actually met anyone who has had a clubfoot.
Yeah, me neither.
I can't think of like, I've seen pictures of people carrying their babies with their baby carrier and their boots and bars and stuff. Yeah. And I try to think, like even when I'm at work and I see families and I see them with like little babies and stuff, I'm like, okay, nothing on the feet. I've never seen anyone like in person. Yeah. So it's just like, I can imagine getting stares. I can imagine getting questions. I can imagine like maybe even during casting, like getting like accusatory kind of like
what did
looks,
you do to your baby?
Like did you hurt, kind of thing. Just like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to take it. I'm going to go off on someone.
Yeah. And it's funny that you mentioned that because like it kind of like you said it, like you haven't seen it, and even before, like, they explain the situation and they show you pictures like, oh yeah, you know what? I think I've seen that before, this place.
But we were both thinking like toes pointing each other. Mm-hmm. This isn't toes pointing each other. I think we were thinking, I think I looked it up and like it pigeon-toed. Mm-hmm. Like it's just the foot is planted on the ground, but it's just like the toes are facing each other. Now this is literally like bent in the ankles. Like, the bottom of the feet are going to be facing the baby.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is like even with that situation, like with seeing images and pictures of babies, like I have not.
I've never seen that before.
I haven't seen it. So it's definitely going to be new. And when he showed me the picture, I was like, whoa, that's like very noticeable. Like it's a lot. Same thing, like pigeon toe, kind of the same thing. Is like I thought it was gonna be just like the feet. Like no, it's like the whole leg, not the whole leg.
The whole ankle.
The whole ankle.
It's
gonna be inwards, you know. So I was like, yeah, I haven't seen it, and I thought about the same thing. But as much as I'm optimistic about a lot of things, I also feel like sometimes I be like, fuck what you think, you know, like we know what we're going through. Because I thought about like people are gonna make faces like like kind of like judging type face. But I kind of like, I've prepped myself enough to like be like, I don't care.
Like I've read different things. Like, people have asked this question on like the forum that I have on Facebook. How they feel about like stairs and stuff like that. There's been different people like, and I remember specifically there was this person, I don't even know who it was, but somebody posted like, I'm okay with it. I like educating people. And like when people ask me questions, I let them know like, hey, whatever, educate them and tell them like what it is. And like, oh, you're curious. Oh yeah, let me tell you about it, kind of thing. And I just like, that's cool for you, but I don't know if I'll be able to take it the same way. I don't know if I'll be able to be so graceful about it and,
I get it.
Invite the curiosity, whatever. I don't know.
It's a hard situation to be in. I just know that if it's, to me, the way that we are, at least me and the way the person I am, if someone asks a question, if they're like legitimately curious about it and wants to be informed, that's different. But when someone's trying to be like, probing questions and they're trying to be rude, then I probably would go off on them, depending on how far they try to go, But I mean,
it's like if they try to test your patience and shit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't anticipate it.
I also don't want to hide it. I'm not ashamed of it. Yeah. Like it's what's gonna be happening. This is what we're gonna have to go through. I'm not ashamed of it. I don't plan to hide it, but I think people should mind their business.
Yeah, I mean it's true. True. So that's one of the things that with me is like. As much as I am also very nice and I'm very like, polite and pleasant with people, I also I'm not afraid to sometimes be like, you know what? I don't care. Like, I don't care. I don't care what you say or thinking or what you're assuming, I'm going my life. I'm going to leave because I'm never probably going to see you again and, continue with my life. Baby, we'll be fine. In the long run, we'll all be fine. Just because you can just suck it. But that's just my mentality as well as like, and that's where I also try to put myself in that situation where like, I know who I am, your opinion on who I am is not going to change who I am at the end of the day. I'm not going to try to please everybody or try to change one opinion. I mean, sometimes I've been through that where I try to change someone's opinion about how they feel about me, but I've learned that it's kind of like, you're just losing your time. You're wasting time trying to like, try to prove them differently, like, or try to show them what you're really, not necessarily worth, but prove them, what you really are about, like what kind of person you're like. It's just a waste of time. Like, I've been there before and like, not gonna waste my time doing that. And al contrario, I'm like, if you don't want to see it, I don't care. That's your loss, not mine. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because like, at the end of the day, you lose respect to a certain extent, depending on the situation. So it is technically your loss, But like I said, like I want to say that there's people, there isn't people like that. They're gonna be kind of probing questions, but nowadays you never know. I wouldn't be surprised if we do encounter that. All I know is that for some weird reason, you tend to have bad luck when people are rude and I'm not there.
I do.
There's been a lot of situations where like, guess what just happened? And this happened, like, the fuck? I would have loved to have been there. you know. And there's
I
been
would
some,
have said something.
Yeah.
Like I would have loved to been. I would have said this and this and this and
Mhm.
that. I'm like, well, I was by myself.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I feel like sometimes you just have bad luck. Because honestly, I would have
People
approached.
be rude to me.
Yeah, people do, and that's what I'm saying is like I would have probably.
Well, I mean, like today, the guy at the grocery store, I said, I did call him a fucking asshole.
Was I there?
No.
No, right? Okay.
No.
You're learning,
Yeah.
young grasshopper. You know, it's kind of like what I mentioned to you at the laundromat with the old lady and like talking under her breath. You know, I was like, hey, you know, kind of need to get my clothes. Excuse me, but she wanted me to say, oh, can you move your car, please? I'm like, I said, excuse me. That's more than enough.
And you said thank you.
Yeah, and I sense how upset she was. The fact that I said excuse me and I opened the door to get my clothes that I had to take out from the dryer. And she was so upset, she was mumbling in her mouth. Oh, no. Can't even say, excuse me, can you move your car? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whatever. As soon as I got my clothes, like, thank you. And I left. I walked out. And I'm pretty sure that pissed her off even more. You know, I don't care.
You killed them with kindness.
Yeah, you know. And in a situation like that,
see, I didn't take that approach though. The guy at the grocery store, he pushed my cart out of his way, and I'm like, he literally pushed it hella far out of his way, and walked past, and then I walked past him, and I was like, you fucking asshole, and I didn't kill him with kindness. I was rude.
Yeah, well, there be situations that
pissed me off.
Yeah, and there would have been situations where I probably would have done the same thing. Today as well. 3 incidents today.
What happened?
Me with the lady at the laundromat, you with the lady at the grocery, and then both of us with the lady at Walmart being hella rude to the cashier.
Oh, man, she was wild.
Dude, I swear to God, I'm not going to say swear to God, but I promise you.
You just did?
I know. So I would change it up. I promise you that if she would have gone on a little further, I probably would have stepped in because, like, you know,
that's why I cut her off, like when she was like complaining about like, oh, if they're not buying anything from the electronics or whatever. I'm like, actually, I need something from over there, and it's locked up.
Yeah. So
I'm like looking at the cashier, ignoring her.
So situation. This is what happened. To give like quick, brief backstory. So we went to Walmart to buy some earbuds for Aiden's
school. We're
cool.
finishing off school supply shopping.
Yeah, but we were at Walmart. That's literally what the last thing we had to get. And we went to the electronics department. And there was one cashier, one lady, you know, working the whole area. So we were literally the second person in line right before a coworker was purchasing her product, right? So we were in line. This lady comes, you know, into the electronics department. And I sensed right away she was going to be rude because she, instead of going around us, she wanted to go through us. And, you know, I mean, us like, oh, yeah, just, you know, go through. So we move and...
She did say, excuse me. I didn't sense anything.
I know I did. She did say, excuse me. I did. I did.
Oh.
She did say, excuse me,
and
but...
I moved, like...
No, I know. So I was like, you know, that's fine, whatever. You know, I don't really care. It's just, I'm not going to make a big deal about that, right? But I sensed there was going to be some type of attitude, right? So we were in line. You know, shortly after that, a customer was right behind us. And then...
She got a line after that.
Yeah, so there was like 3 people in front of her.
We did have quite a few things in our cart, but we also wanted to get...
The earbuds.
Like the earbuds that you said for Aiden for school. Yeah.
So, you know, we were in line, and then she kind of called the cashier, the lady. So, oh, you know, can I get some help here? And something like that. And the lady's like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to help them out, and then I'll go help you out. She started, like, tripping, you know, about,
like, oh, tell them to go to the other line if they're not going to get electronics.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
but before
you don't know that. You haven't even allowed us to speak.
Yeah, because she was, like, talking to the lady and not letting her finish her job, you know, what she had to do in front. You know, she was interrupting it. And consistently, like, can you call the cashier? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, you know, it's like, I need to get something. I'm a customer, and I'm here for electronics.
She said all of that?
Yeah.
Damn, I hella blocked her.
Yeah, and she's like, and if they're not going to, like, you know,
that's what
I'm here for electronics.
Yeah.
If they're not going to buy something, just tell them to go to the cash lane. You know, like, I was like.
And that's when I interrupted.
Yeah.
I was like, actually, I do need something from over there, and it's locked up.
So, you know, I went, and the lady's like, she showed, like, oh, what do you need? Oh, I need some earbuds.
And that's when she's like, oh.
She was like, yeah. So she's like, oh, I need some, you know, some earpods, some earphones, right? So I showed her away, like, you know, and I kind of turned around, like, sorry about that. Not trying to give you guys a,
You said sorry to the rest of the people?
to the lady, to the cashier, because I felt bad.
Too.
Like, I'm sorry. Sorry you had to go through that, but like, no, don't worry. She's like, she has to wait. You guys were in line first, and then I'll take the second, and then she'll.
And we even like try to rush with our stuff too.
Yeah,
like,
we really did.
Her, like,
and that's the thing.
Like we had quite a few notebooks and stuff for the kids and stuff, and it's like, we help you. Like we put them on the. I
mean, at the end of the day, I think we had like 20, 25 items, which is not that much. It wasn't that much.
Crazy.
But the fact that this lady was like pressuring and being so rude to the lady, we felt like, okay, we kind of need to hurry up. So it might have felt like it was a lot. But I mean, that's what I'm saying is like, I felt bad for the lady because when we walked away, like that's fucked up. The lady is trying her best. She's by herself. She's by herself. She doesn't make her own schedule. She doesn't schedule the people around her. Like, you're telling her, like, can you call somebody else to help you? I'm like,
she literally told somebody. I'm by myself.
Yeah. Like, she said like
multiple times.
4 or 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she can't call somebody that's not there. Like, who are you going to call? Ghostbusters? It's like, it's just, to me, I find that very rude because I've been there, and it's kind of like in the restaurant industry, like fast food and restaurant, like dining, like Denny's, people give people hard time just for the fuck of it, and it's kind of shitty because as a coworker, as a worker, you're trying your best. And if like,
it's like you're attending multiple tables. You're not attending just you. You are not my only customer.
Yeah. And just like you want her or him, whoever's, helping you, want them to get as fast as you, to you. They also have to do the same thing with people before you. You're trying to rush them to get away from them.
That's why, I always hated going to places with my mom. I still do.
Yeah.
Even though she's worked in the food service industry, she's worked in customer service, she knows what, rude, customers are like. Mm-hmm. She is a rude customer.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen it.
And
before.
It's like, I don't like it.
Yeah, and I sympathize because I've seen it in both ways in retail as well. I've seen people sometimes it's not that we want to schedule one person to work a whole department. It's just the budget, the hours. There's not enough to go around. It's a slow time, so you have to cut down on hours. Coworkers, people are overworked already as it is. With COVID and a lot of people being laid off, or choosing to be laid off. If anybody's going through it, not to assault anybody, but some people are like, well, I can get paid just to be at home, go through unemployment. Some people have been choosing that, and trust me, I've heard stories from people I know. So it's happened, and that just makes a burden for other people that are actually there. So it's like to go to a place where they're overworked and they're under stress, and then on top of that, you're rude to them and you add more pressure, and making them feel like they're not doing enough. And they have
to, put on that happy face.
And so I was like,
attend to your every need.
Yeah. So I sympathize with people like that. So I was like, I felt like that was super rude. And I was, as soon as she said, oh, just tell them to go somewhere else, they're not going to buy. I was like, okay, she starts saying something rude to her. I'm like, you know what? I was literally getting ready to step in and be like, you know what? You got to stop that shit. I wouldn't have gone back and forth with her. Actually, I would have. But if I would have seen that things got escalated, I'll probably... You're
so petty.
Well, I know, but that's the only way you win. I'm a winner.
But how you going to win? She will come and smack you?
I call the police. I file charges. There you go. Win-win, baby. But no, that's what I'm saying. Is like...
Oh, I'm so hurt.
Was the novela Ruby? Bro, I'm going to become an actor, bro. Slap me, go all the way to the escalator, fall all the way down. Bro, you never know.
So she punches you in the face, you fall on the ground, so you start rolling on the floor. Yeah. You're so stupid.
You see? But no, and that's the thing, you have to pick and choose your fights, right? But I mean, what I mean is
I did it in a different way. I interrupted and I do need something. So this shit can stop.
That's the thing is I was getting ready, gonna be hey, she's gonna help us out. You're next. You're next. You're two people behind you, and then you're next, right? I could have been like, hey, be patient. We're almost done, and she'll help you out. I was getting ready, to, in a sense, step in, but in a civilized way. But the way that she was with the lady, I already knew like if I was to be like as polite as possible, I'd be like, that's not cool, man. Just chill. I knew she was gonna like, get all hyped up about it, and I knew I was gonna be ready for that too. And that's not so much about the fighting.
For me personally, I don't think it's when someone's already like in like acting, behaving in the way that she was behaving. I don't entertain that. Like, to me, it's not my. I understand you, kind of understand. Like, you kind of want to step in. You sympathize with the lady. I did too. Like I sympathize with her. And honestly, for me, she could have got me the earbuds, and I would have gone to another line if that would have been helpful. Like,
That's what I was prepared to do.
Like, I was prepared to just like, oh, give me the earbuds. I won't take up any more of your time. I'll go look for another cashier, and I'll go cash out on the other side. Like, I don't mind doing that just to relieve pressure off of you.
Because that's what we were getting ready to do too.
Yeah. Like, I was ready for her to be like, I'm sorry, you have too many stuff. Can you go to another cashier? That's fine. Yeah. I'll go somewhere else. Yeah. And go by the exit and pay over there. But for a person like the woman that was complaining, like, it's pointless for me to step in and like to even engage, to even acknowledge the presence, to be like, excuse you. It's just pointless for me to acknowledge that you exist right now because you're being super stupid. Yep. So for me, it's just like, I didn't even turn around and look at her. I didn't even look at her before. I don't think I even looked at her before, even when she passed through us. I knew someone was passing, but that was it. I just wanted to get out of there too. Like, I wanted to make the lady's job easier. And if it was causing her trouble that we were there, I would just want to get the earbuds and go pay somewhere else.
Yeah. And it's like, although I say I was ready to engage in it, or like to step in, like I thought about the same way as like, like you're just going to feed onto it, right? Yeah. You're just going to feed into it. And then there's a big issue. Like, I'm conscious of that. I was aware of that.
Like, someone like that just likes reactions.
Yeah. And I was telling you, like, and I was telling you, like, when we got to the car, like, I understand people that just ruin their own day by acting like that. And I thought about it like, well, I'm pretty sure they get a kick out of it. So I'm pretty sure they're not ruining their day. Maybe it's just getting better for them, through that situation. And not to like assume that people are do that, but reality is people like doing that.
They like the drama.
Yeah, they like a kick. They get a kick out of making people like go through a certain sense of emotion like that. Like stressing them out or just pretending to be the bigger person. The big bad wolf type thing. But yeah, so it's just I just sympathize with people. Like, even when we go to restaurants, and we leave, I always pick up my plates. I don't just leave everything the way it is. Like, I don't clean the table for them, but I put like, okay, let me put all the dishes together. All the little trash, napkins, whatever is, I put them on top of the plate so they can just pick it up, dust it off, and clean up the table. And I've always been like that because, like I've been through restaurant. I've been through like, through like fast food. So I've learned to sympathize. And then I was, my mom, kind of raised us the way she did. Like, I see things like that. So I just like, when I see like people like leaving messes everywhere, because I've seen it, like working at a McDonald's, like you leave, like not only like you leave dirty, which is fine, we'll clean up after you, but like there's everywhere, just trash everywhere. Sometimes people do that shit on purpose.
Like, do you do this shit at home?
Exactly. Like, do you go to other people's houses and do this? Like, no, then why would you do it here? But like, that's a different thing. That's just
because their mentality is somebody's getting paid to clean this.
I hate that, but it's true. I heard people say that. That's what we pay. Like, that's what you get paid for. Like, no, we get paid to serve you, not to be your housekeeper. But I mean, whatever it is, there's that mentality, and they're like, oh, I hate that so much. So when I go to places, I always try to be like, at least
tidy up a little.
Yeah, tidy up, and that's what I'm getting like with Aiden too. I'm like, bro, pick that up before we leave. Like, pick that up, put everything together, and I've been trying to do that with them, just so they know, like, you're not gonna go to a house and just do that. You have to have some sense of like, respect.
There's boundaries, man.
Yeah. But yeah, crazy day today, honestly, thinking about it with those situations.
Kind of.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, you kind of have to be rude.
I mean, I can't go off and tell everybody fucking assholes. Like, fucking asshole, you fucking asshole, you fucking asshole. I can't do that, but
I mean, who says you can't?
I can't. I choose not to.
No, so it's not that you can't. It's just you choose not to.
I choose not to.
Big difference.
Mm-hmm.
But you can. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. But, besides that, I think, with the way that you've been feeling a lot lately, like the emotional, like you're very emotional, it just means that we're getting closer to the due date, and technically it's set as a due date, right? On when. Yeah. So, for the first time in ever, I'm going to take a parental leave, which is very exciting, very exciting. I never did this before. A kid's going to pop my cherry when it comes to this. It's just like, I wasn't able to do this at McDonald's, and
you were at McDonald's both times.
Both times. Yeah. And even if I was at Target, I probably wouldn't have been so comfortable because, I mean,
the benefits aren't like.
Yeah, like kids benefits a lot better, in my opinion. So, I'm excited, like I'm going to have 2 months, 6 weeks off. And I'm very excited. I'm
very excited for you. Yeah.
I'll be honest. I'm not even excited about the baby. I'm just excited to be off.
I mean, I don't blame you.
No, but with Mamas and Pookie,
it's like you literally had to work a shift and then go to the hospital. You took a few days off, I think, and then you went back to work, and I was home with the kids. Like, you never got a chance to take like time off. I mean, luckily you've been, working there for enough time to accumulate time to actually take time off.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
It's very nice, and I'm very excited for you to be able to be at home with us and bonding, especially with us, this new developing situation with our baby, and just like you'll be able to be part of the appointments.
Yeah. And
you'll just be able to really, enjoy this newborn.
Yeah, and the thing with with Aiden and Adi is like I enjoy them. Pookie not so much, because I was working a lot more, but I still enjoyed every moment that I had with them. With Mama's a little bit the same, it's just it's a lot different when you're, you enjoy. Let's see, when you're away for 8 hours a day. Sometimes 9 or 10, depending,
you come home
traffic, you kind of need to like, chill, mellow down, eat, shower, that takes time away. And just knowing that for 6 weeks, I don't have to take a shower or brush my teeth and I can just enjoy it with the baby. It makes me like very happy.
Like you won't even have to change your clothes. Like you can literally be in the same clothes the whole 6 weeks. Nothing changes for you.
My boxers are
all you have to do is like carry this thing for 6 weeks.
And from time to time, I just put deodorant just
so
I don't.
You're gonna say
up.
your boxers are gonna be all crusty.
They're gonna get crusty and they're gonna deteriorate.
You're so disgusting. They're gonna be powder by the end of the 6 weeks.
Take them off. No. But all jokes aside, like I'm very excited because like I'm gonna literally be home from
24 hours a day.
Yeah, 24 hours a day. I was gonna say from morning to night, but I know it's not gonna be like that. Probably gonna be up at random times, and that's another thing that I'm also gonna be excited about because I kind of want to experience that, like to the full extent. Because with Aiden and Adi, you were off of work for a certain amount of time, not like the full benefit like you're gonna take now, but you were like off of work, so in a sense you kind of had the big load of like having to wake up in the middle of the night more than I did, because I had to work the next day or I had to get up in a few hours. So, I'm kind of excited.
Well, I mean, I do plan to breastfeed, so, there's not much you can do.
Change the diaper.
True.
Burp him. Her. Take him out for a walk in the middle of the night when the baby's wants to
go for a drive.
Go for a drive. Yeah, so I'm still be able to do that, help you out with that. So So yeah, I'm just very excited, you know, and I think the last few days I've caught myself just saying like, oh, I can't wait, you know, and it just comes naturally out of me, like, you know, just because, you know, it's a new experience for me.
You've been rubbing my belly a lot
Yeah.
lately. You just like when we're driving or whatever, you just grab me, or like we're crossing paths in the house and you just kind of like rub my belly.
Yeah.
I mean, on top of the fact that it's a little kind of there. It's not huge,
yeah.
but it's there.
Yeah.
There's something.
Yeah, but they're definitely like, you know, you're gonna have to take maternity leave. I'm gonna take paternity leave, and you know, 6 weeks we're just gonna enjoy it with the kids. You know, then there's also Halloween, Thanksgiving. We're gonna actually
your birthday. We might be able to.
Mm-hmm.
It might still fall under that.
Yeah, so it's just a lot of like, you know, eventful, you know, events during that time, and I'm gonna enjoy it. You know, it would have been better if, you know, it was more towards like October 31st that we had to leave, so we can enjoy, you know, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. But we'll take it. It doesn't matter. You know, we'll take it. It's something new for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you were talking about, oh, I'm gonna work, you know, 2 weeks off and then go back and then take another. I'm like, what?
I said 3 weeks.
Anyways, I was. Why would you do that to yourself? Just take the full time off and take advantage and just. You have never stopped. I mean, since you started working, you have not stopped working.
Yeah.
You deserve this.
Yeah, and I think to a certain extent, things work have been real good, and I feel good that if I leave, my team will be fine, you know, and they won't struggle. So there's not so much sense of like, you know, I need to go back as soon as possible because my department is going to struggle. Like, nah, I think my team is doing real good. You know.
Here you go again. I was thinking about work.
I know. I just no, but that's the reason.
No, I mean, I think about work too, but I know that everything's gonna be fine too.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I know the kids are excited. You know, just can't wait. I'm just thinking about like, you know, like today specifically. I mentioned like, oh, you know, can't wait. We're almost there, because I was just thinking about like.
Well, I mean, I did call and, you know, file my claim and.
Yeah, no, but before that, I was just thinking about Thanksgiving. Last year, 2 years ago, you cooked for Thanksgiving. Last year, I cooked for Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna take credit already, huh?
No. I was gonna say, wait, 2 years ago, did we? Was it 3 years ago, or we were getting ready to move
2 years
out?
ago, we were getting to move, so we just went to Nations.
Yeah,
But 3 years ago, we cooked. And that's the thing. Every year, you cook for Thanksgiving. Last year, I just ended up doing it because I don't know. I just did it, huh?
Yeah.
I just wanted to help out.
It was just us.
Yeah. So this year, también, I was like, you know, either you cook or I cook. It's gonna be together as a family. You know, and that's gonna be nice. So, and I was just thinking about that, like randomly, like, you know, like we're literally gonna be home, not even have to like, oh, I gotta go to work tomorrow. But then I can come home early because we close early, or I can take the day off, but I have to go to work tomorrow. You know, like I won't have to
Or be
think about
considerate of like how the schedule's gonna work out, because somebody else might want to take some time off, and you know, I'm gonna need to be there because like it's just like,
yeah,
you don't have to think about it.
Yeah, because
like this is something that we've earned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's gonna be nice, and that's what I was thinking about, like randomly, like, you know, I don't have to worry about the day before. I have to work, and then I have to go the next after Thanksgiving. I have to go to work early in the morning or later on in the day. You don't enjoy as much. I mean, you enjoy it because you get to get off early, or you're
You're
off.
thinking about, I gotta go to sleep at this time because then I have to be up at this time, and then, you know, or I get to sleep in a little bit, but then I have to go to work at this time. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to not have to worry.
Like having
and like
a time
have to
frame.
be up the next day. It's just like we're gonna be on baby schedule during that time.
Definitely. No, definitely.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah. So yeah, that's what's been happening lately. Like we mentioned earlier, I think our schedule has been super crazy. But looking into this whole month, I think we're gonna have a lot of free time to be more consistent with recording. Definitely.
I mean, I take full responsibility for the times that we haven't recorded, because we've had little gaps and we have days that we have off and stuff. But like, I take responsibility for not putting in the effort to do it because of the fact that like I'm not always up for it. I'm not always feeling great.
Yeah, but it also has a lot to do with the schedule because if we're coming from a busy weekend and we're off like the next day, like do you even have the energy? Not just because you're pregnant. In general, like after a busy weekend or a busy day at work, it's hard, like to come there. You kind of want to just lay down, chill, relax, and
But I
re-energize.
sense the fact that like it's important to you, and you want to do it. It's just you kind of like ask me like, are you feeling even earlier like you want to do it? Like you sure? I was laying down. I kind of took a nap earlier. We ate dinner and then you started setting up, and then you just asked me like, you sure you want to do it? It's just you're kind of leaving it up to me, and that's what I'm saying. Like I take responsibility for not being consistent. I'll like with this because I'm not always feeling 100%. Even today, I feel like crap right now.
Yeah, but like even like I mean, don't blame yourself.
I'm not blaming myself. I'm just taking responsibility for.
Yeah, because going back to the schedule, like we looked into like a lot of times like, oh, what can we record and have like people guests, because we have a few guests that are gonna come on, and they were like, okay, when can we schedule them? And like, well, this week does not help at all because you're closing, and then the days that you're not closing, I'm closing, so like we can't even have people over, and that was like almost for 2 weeks and a half where that was going on. Like we can't even do it here.
But we did have days off together.
And
sometimes I'm like,
that's
I don't want to schedule anyone on that day because like we have stuff to do. Like
well, and that's kind of goes back what I was saying earlier too. Like when we did have the time, there was also a limited time window, because it's like, okay, can this person come in? Or like, well, but we have to go wash, or we have to do this. So we were able to schedule people. It's just going to be too tight, and then we also don't want to rush, people, and like it's just it wasn't the right timing. Even though we were off, we had a lot of things to do. So it's like to a certain extent, it wasn't just the schedule. It was also like our work-life balance where we had other things to do. Just today we had.
You keep saying work-life balance. No, it's just.
We go to work, and that's the time we're at work, and then our life outside of work is different. So it's work and life balance. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Okay. But and that's what I'm saying is like just the windows that we had, when we could, it was just too small of a window. So it's like like I'm not gonna schedule anything on this day because I know we've been busy. And this day, we're going to just use it to as much as we can for whatever we have to do. And just looking into our schedule for this month, it's a lot better. Like this whole week, if things go well, we're going to record three guests. Next week, one of those guests might not be able to come this week because it's kind of short. We had to reschedule. But definitely can schedule until the next week because we have time next week, and then we can roll over to the next week because we also have a couple of days where we can have people over. So it's like it looks better. Like right off the bat, there's a lot more windows where we can work around it. Yeah.
Well, thanks to whoever does listen. Much appreciated.
No, definitely.
I hope. I mean, if you guys have anything that you would like to suggest.
Yeah, and we still have to talk about a couple of things that another guest,
Yeah, someone sent me something. So we haven't touched base on it, but it seemed really interesting, and we've been meaning to make a podcast around it. Just like topics about like, people stuff.
So when we do record it and we do post it, like thank you for the suggestion. We really do appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things, a lot of exciting things, coming our way with the podcast and without the podcast. The baby's going to be here soon. So hopefully if things go the way that I want to, like, once the baby's here, we can show everybody the baby, on here, on video.
Maybe.
Maybe. That's what I'm saying. Maybe, depending on how the baby
I
is.
have my reservations.
I know. Oh, yeah.
But anyway.
But besides that, I think kind of like what you mentioned, thank you for everybody that has been listening, that have been consistently listening, and even like suggestions or like even like what do you call it? Words of affirmation, hey, even like little messages like, hey, I heard the episode this week and, you said this and that. And it feels good. It feels good that people like can resonate with certain things or they like what was mentioned. Like it feels good, specifically knowing that to a certain extent people are not alone, and we can all relate one way or another. I think that's amazing. So appreciate everybody that's been listening, and hopefully we're more consistent, but for sure. Thank you.
Yeah. But back to the point of this podcast.
Oh yeah. Hella drifted off, huh?
Just a little bit. Yeah. For like a whole hour or whatever.
46 minutes.
Yeah, mind your business.
Yep.
Mind your business and don't give unsolicited advice to people that are not asking for it.
Especially if they're pregnant.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of hormones going around.
There's a lot of emotions involved. And you don't know what people are struggling with that you can't physically see. Mm-hmm. It's like you don't see what I go through. Yeah. It's not visible. You can't look at me and be like, oh.
Yep. You're going through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a silent thing. So just mind your business.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. But sorry, like kind of you touching a good such is like, even if it's like, it's kind of like a little rule of thumb. If someone's pregnant, you're not going to go over there like, oh, you look fat or you're going to, look big. It's kind of rude.
It's kind of like when somebody looks pudgy, you're not going to be like, are you pregnant?
Yeah.
Like you're not going to ask if they're pregnant because they may have just gained weight. Mm-hmm. You're not gonna ask that question. Or
if you're a pregnant woman that is pregnant and you feel bad about how much weight you've been, like, oh, you can't really see it. I'm really am fat. It's like either way.
Huh?
Like say someone like there's a woman that is pregnant and you say, are you pregnant? And they're already like kind of battling like, oh, I'm getting too big. My baby's getting too big.
That reminds you of what you did to your...
Yeah. But you know what I mean, though, right? It's like, if someone...
So, like, Mario... Oh, I want to talk about
I know. I will. No, okay. I will. But kind of let me finish first. Let me finish, okay? It's kind of like what I meant is like...
But it's just like, we're going to forget about it.
Oh, no, we're not. Because this is good. This is good.
It's funny and... Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
But anyways... what I meant to say is like, if a mother or... a soon-to-be mom is struggling, like with like, oh, maybe I'm gaining too much weight. Maybe I look too big. I'm too fat, because my baby's growing. They're already like battling that in their head. And you're like, oh, and you hear that like, oh, are you pregnant? Like, oh.
Are you sure it's not twins? Like,
oh, my God, yes. That makes it even worse. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
just roll your eyes at them.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like, if you're pregnant, you're not pregnant, it's still not good, regardless. Because if you aren't pregnant, like, oh, shit, you're saying I'm fat, I just gained weight. And if you're pregnant, it's like, oh, shit, is that noticeable? Like, insecurities, So either way, that's kind of like a rule of thumb. So with other things like that, people don't have that sense of like, common sense. Like, what am I saying? Is like, it's more about ignorance.
Am I being hurtful?
Yeah, like they're ignorant. They don't know that they're being hurtful, or that might be another one of those subjects, that might be touchy to that person. But anyways, going back to my story, once upon a time, not long ago.
You was a hoe.
I was not a hoe. I wanted to. No. So I know if my cousin hears this, my tia was pregnant. I'm just looking like, where's my camera? Is this my camera? No, is this my camera? My tia was pregnant with, I believe, our third baby, which is my cousin. I believe it was the third one. No, it was the fourth one. So she was pregnant, right? She was pregnant and
messed up.
And I'm gonna tell you, it's funny.
You didn't mean it that way.
No. Al contrario, I was trying to mean it as a compliment. But anyways, let me finish. Let me finish first. So she was pregnant, and around that time, we kind of I went my way. We kind of separated from my mom. It's just I was busy at work a lot. So I know my tia was pregnant, and she was a certain amount of time. And then one day, after a long time, it wasn't that long. It was maybe a couple of months. I saw my tia at the grocery store, and I was surprised. I'm like, from my calculations, I thought you were pregnant. So, we hadn't seen each other for a long time. We gave each other a hug. She gave me a kiss. I gave her a kiss. And I was like, tia, are you still pregnant? In Spanish, I told him, no, ¿todavía está embarazada? And then my tia was like, ay, she's like, no, yeah, no, yeah, ya tuve, ¿cuánto tiempo tiene? And what I was trying to say is, she looked very thin, in my head,
I thought you were pregnant.
Yeah, you look very thin,
To my calculations, you should have.
Yeah. So I was legitimately shocked because,
she wasn't pregnant.
Yeah, I thought she would be a lot bigger, because the baby and all that. So I didn't mean it the way it did, but the way
there you go, not minding your own business.
I know, but the way that she took it the other way. Do I look still like I'm pregnant? No, but it was the other way around. But I just remember, we got into the car. I was like, we were like, Mario. I know, I fucked up. But I didn't mean it like that. Al contrario, So my cousin's listening. Tell your mom I didn't mean it that way. I meant it the other way. She looked great, But yeah, I thought that was funny. I do remember that. I'm like, I should have just framed it a little bit differently. I should have said it differently.
Where's the baby?
Yeah, exactly. Where's it? Oh damn, you look good. Something different, instead of being all confused, you're still pregnant? But yeah, so yeah. So you see a woman that you thought was pregnant, do not say, are you pregnant? Say something else. Dang girl, you look good. Something else besides that. Because, then, seem like an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool story, bro.
Yeah.
Cool story.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I remember fuck, I fucked up. I was going to tell my mom. My mom's going to get mad at me. But yeah. I think that is going to be it for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Graciela will be opening up the next episodes.
That's debatable.
No, it's not debatable. It's off the table. Like this memory card. It's off the table. Yeah, you're going to practice. You're going to be a pro at this. No, but yeah, honestly, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one when we have definitely guests and more to talk about. Thank you.